Tora pressed his four-fingered hand against the viewport of his small scout ship. The blue-green planet hung before him, beautiful and terrifying all at once. He was only supposed to be mapping what the Galactic Alliance had classified as an empty sector. Finding an inhabited world wasn't in his mission parameters. The alien adjusted his breathing apparatus and checked his scanners again. The readings couldn't be right. The oxygen levels alone would be toxic to most sentient species, yet the planet teemed with life. For 3 local rotations, Tor observed the humans from orbit. His silver skin prickled with growing horror as he compiled his data. These creatures were unlike anything in known space. He focused his observation equipment on a small settlement. His translator struggled with their language, but he understood enough. They called their world Earth and themselves humans. In one area, Tora watched a small human child fall from a considerable height onto a hard surface. The fall would have killed any juvenile of his species instantly. Yet the tiny human got up, leaked some red fluid, made noise that seemed to indicate distress, and then continued its activities minutes later. In another location, he observed elderly humans who continued to function despite having sustained multiple injuries throughout their lives. One even had artificial parts integrated with their biological form, and they adapted to this with remarkable ease. Most disturbing of all was their history. Tora accessed their information networks and discovered countless wars. Yet after each one, they rebuilt faster than before. They split the atom less than a century ago, and now they had crewed space stations orbiting their world. This can't be natural evolution, Tora muttered to himself as he hurriedly compiled his report. They're advancing too quickly. If they reach interstellar capability. His silver fingers trembled as he added his final assessment. Recommend immediate containment protocols. These humans represent a level 9 potential threat to galactic stability. Tora activated the jump drive, eager to deliver his findings to Alliance headquarters. The journey took 16 cycles, during which he refined his report with cold, hard data. No one could dismiss facts. The Central Alliance station orbited a gas giant in what humans would call the Andromeda Galaxy. Tora docked his scout ship and hurried through the gleaming corridors, passing dozens of species from across the known universe. None of them looked like humans. None of them had evolved on such a brutal world. Commander Vexnar's office reflected his status in the Alliance hierarchy. The tall, insectoid alien barely looked up from his console when Tora entered. Scout Tora, your mapping mission was scheduled for 30 cycles. You return after only 23. Explain. Tora placed his data crystal on the commander's desk. Sir, I discovered an inhabited world in Sector 47K. The dominant species possesses alarming characteristics that require immediate Alliance attention. Vexinar's compound eyes flickered with annoyance. Another primitive world. There are thousands in the unmapped regions. Not primitive, sir. Dangerous. They call themselves humans. Their durability exceeds anything in our records. They survive injuries that would kill most species. They intentionally consume mild toxins for pleasure. Their technological development is accelerating at an unprecedented rate. The commander picked up the data crystal, inserted it into his console, and scanned the report. His mandibles clicked in what Tora recognized as amusement. A level 9 threat assessment for a species that hasn't even left their own star system. Vexnar laughed, a harsh chittering sound. You've been in deep space too long, Scout. Your imagination has gotten the better of you. Sir, with respect, the data shows a pre-interstellar civilization on a high-gravity world. Nothing more. Vexnar tossed the crystal back. File your report as a standard Class D developmental observation. We'll check on them in a century or two. Back on Earth, NASA astronaut Jack Miller floated in the observation module of the International Space Station. He adjusted an antenna array while engineer Susan Clark monitored the readings. Jack, are you seeing this? Susan's voice crackled through his headset. Seeing what? These signals. They're not ours. They're not from any Earth satellite I recognize. Jack pushed himself toward the window and looked out at the stars. Where are they coming from? Susan's reply was barely audible. That's just it. They're coming from a point in space where there's nothing. At least, nothing we can see. Zel-Tora paced in his small quarters on the Alliance station, replaying Commander Vexnar's dismissal in his mind. The data was clear. The humans were dangerous, yet no one would listen. He couldn't let it go. His duty to the Alliance demanded more than simple obedience. "Computer, connect me to Medical Officer Ayara," Zel-Tora said. The screen flickered, revealing the pale blue face of Dr. Ayara. Her large, almond-shaped eyes widened at the sight of him. "Scout Zel-Tora, this is unexpected. How may I assist you?" "I need your expert opinion on some biological data." Unofficially. Dr. Ayara hesitated, then nodded. "Send it through. I'll review it." An hour later, Zel-Tora sat with Dr. Ayara and communications specialist Zik, a small rodent-like alien with extraordinary hearing. They met in a quiet corner of the station's garden dome, away from monitoring devices. "These readings can't be correct," Dr. Ayara said, her voice hushed with disbelief. No sentient species could evolve with this pain tolerance or regenerative ability. Zik's whiskers twitched. Their communication patterns suggest a hive mind capability without the actual hive structure. They form temporary collectives to solve problems, then dissolve back into individuals. It's efficient. Zel-Tora nodded. "I need to gather more evidence. Commander Vexnar thinks I'm exaggerating." "This goes against orders," Ayara warned. "The safety of the Alliance matters more than my career," Zel-Tora replied. Over the next 10 cycles, Zel-Tora and his small team gathered more data. They observed humans surviving in environments ranging from freezing polar regions to scorching deserts. They documented humans ingesting capsaicin compounds that would cause severe tissue damage to most species simply for pleasure. They watched humans recover from grief and trauma with remarkable psychological resilience. Zel-Tora compiled everything into a comprehensive report and requested an audience with the full Galactic Council. The council chamber was vast, with seating for representatives of all 87 member species. Zel-Tora stood in the center, trying to ignore Commander Vexnar's glare from the military section. "Esteemed council members," Zel-Tora began, "I present evidence of a previously unknown species that poses a unique challenge to our understanding of sentient development." As he displayed the human data, murmurs spread through the chamber. He showed footage of human athletic competitions, medical procedures, and warfare. "These humans breathe oxygen at levels toxic to most of us. They can survive radiation exposure that would kill most species. They intentionally expose themselves to environmental extremes for recreation. Their technological progress has accelerated from primitive combustion to basic space travel in less than 300 cycles." The Vorex representative, a gelatinous being floating in a suspension tank, spoke first. "This seems highly improbable. Are we certain this data hasn't been manipulated?" "The data is accurate," Dr. Ayara said, stepping forward to join Zel-Tora. "As a medical professional, I can confirm these biological readings." Commander Vexnar rose from his seat. "Council members, this is a waste of valuable time. Scout Zel-Tora has become fixated on a primitive species that poses no threat to the Alliance. They haven't even achieved faster than light travel. Yet, Zel-Tora insisted, at their current rate of advancement. "Speculation," Vexnar interrupted, "not evidence." The council deliberated briefly before the High Chancellor spoke. "We appreciate your diligence, Scout Zel-Tora, but we find insufficient cause for concern. The species will be classified as a primitive non-threat, with standard monitoring protocols." Zel-Tora's shoulders slumped as the council moved on to other matters. Later, Commander Vexnar approached him in the corridor. "Your obsession with these humans is becoming problematic." "Sir, I'm only trying to." "You're being reassigned. Vexnar said coldly, "We're establishing a monitoring outpost near this Earth. You'll be stationed there. Perhaps direct observation will cure your paranoia." Back on Earth, Jack Miller and Susan Clark sat across from NASA Director Alan Peters in a secure conference room. "You're certain about these signals?" Peters asked. Susan nodded. "They're definitely artificial and definitely not ours. And they disappeared when you tried to locate the source." Peters frowned. "Yes, sir," Jack replied. "Whatever was out there, it moved. Fast." Peters tapped his fingers on the table. "Keep this between us for now. I'll authorize a special project to investigate. If something is watching us, I want to know who and why." The monitoring station orbiting Earth's moon was small and uncomfortable. Sale Tora had spent 40 days there with Dr. Ayara and Zik, who had volunteered to join him despite the career risk. They were recording everything about humans they could observe from their hidden position. Main power system failing. The computer announced suddenly. Red lights flashed throughout the station. Hazel Tora rushed to the control panel. "What's happening?" Zik's small fingers flew across the controls. "Something hit our power core. We're losing orbit stability." "Can we fix it?" Dr. Ayara asked, her blue face pale with worry. "Negative. We need to evacuate." Tora activated the emergency protocols. "Computer, engage stealth systems on the escape pod." The three aliens hurried to the small escape vessel as the station shuddered around them. The pod detached just as the monitoring station began to break apart. "Stabilizing trajectory," Tora said, piloting the pod away from the debris. "But the damage was too severe. We're going to crash. Brace for impact." The pod's stealth system failed as they entered Earth's atmosphere. They streaked across the night sky like a meteor, crashing into a forested area in rural Oregon. The impact knocked Tora unconscious. When he awoke, pain shot through his slender body. The escape pod was partially buried in soft earth, its hull cracked. Dr. Ayara was tending to an injured Zik. "Status?" Tora asked weakly. "The pod is destroyed," Ayara replied. "Zik has a broken limb. Our communication array is damaged. We're stranded." Tora closed his large eyes briefly. "And the humans? Our crash was visible. They will come looking." Miles away, Sheriff Donna Hayes was enjoying a rare quiet evening at home when her phone rang. She answered with a sigh. "Sheriff, it's Frank," her deputy said excitedly. "Something crashed in the woods near Miller's Creek. Folks are saying it's a meteor, but it came down slow, like it was controlled." Donna grabbed her keys. "I'll meet you there in 15 minutes. Don't let anyone get too close until we know what we're dealing with." By the time Donna arrived, a small crowd had gathered at the edge of the forest. Deputy Frank Martinez was keeping them back from the trail that led into the woods. "Any idea what it is?" Donna asked. Frank shook his head. "Too dark to tell. But it left a trail of broken trees about half a mile in." Donna nodded. "Let's check it out. Bring the first aid kit in case someone's hurt." They hiked through the dark forest, flashlights cutting through the mist. The smell of burnt wood and strange, metallic odors grew stronger as they approached. "Holy Mother of," Frank whispered as they reached the crash site. The object was clearly not a meteor. It was a metal pod, partly buried in the ground. Strange symbols marked its surface. A section of the hull was split open. "Is that a spaceship?" Frank's voice cracked. Before Donna could answer, movement came from inside the pod. She drew her gun instinctively. "Sheriff's Department, come out slowly with your hands where I can see them." For a moment, nothing happened. Then a slender, silvery figure emerged from the wreckage. It stood upright on two legs, but was clearly not human. Its large, dark eyes blinked in the flashlight beam. Behind it, two more creatures appeared, one blue-skinned with almond eyes, the other small and furry. Donna's hand trembled, but she kept her gun steady. Frank made a strange, choked sound beside her. The silver being raised its four-fingered hand slowly, mimicking the surrender position. Then it spoke, the words coming out strangely accented but understandable. "We mean no harm. I am Excel Tora of the Galactic Alliance. Our vessel malfunctioned." Donna swallowed hard. Every protocol, every procedure she'd ever learned seemed inadequate for this moment. First contact was happening in her jurisdiction, in a forest in Oregon. Are you injured?" It was all she could think to ask. Excel Tora tilted his head, clearly surprised by the question. "My companions require medical assistance." Frank whispered, "What do we do, Sheriff?" Donna lowered her gun slowly. "We help them. Then we figure out the rest." Sheriff Donna Hayes led the three aliens to her cabin at the edge of town. It was safer than bringing them to the station or a hospital. Deputy Frank called in sick to help her manage the situation. "Your people will come looking for you?" Donna asked as she bandaged Zick's broken limb. Despite her shock, her hands remained steady. Excel Tora nodded. "The Alliance will detect our crash. A retrieval team will be dispatched." "And that's bad?" Frank asked, offering Dr. Ayara a glass of water. The blue alien sniffed it cautiously before drinking. "It could be," Excel Tora said. "I was sent here as punishment for warning about humans. My superior, Commander Vexinar, will lead the retrieval. He believes your species is primitive and harmless." "Thanks a lot," Frank muttered. "He means that the Alliance sees humans as no threat," Dr. Ayara explained. But Excel Tora discovered otherwise. "Your adaptability, resilience, and rate of advancement are unprecedented." Donna's phone rang. She answered while keeping her eyes on the aliens. "Sheriff Hayes, this is Alan Peters from NASA. We detected an object crash in your jurisdiction. My team is en route." Donna hesitated, then decided on honesty. "Sir, you might want to hurry. We have visitors." 2 hours later, Jack Miller and Susan Clark arrived with Director Peters. Their faces showed the same shock Donna had felt upon seeing the aliens, but they recovered quickly. "We've been tracking unusual signals for weeks," Jack explained as they all sat in Donna's living room. "We knew something was watching Earth." Excel Tora explained the Galactic Alliance, its vast territory, and its policy toward developing worlds. He described his mission and his failed attempts to warn his leaders about humans. "The Alliance absorbs suitable species and eliminates threats," he said. "I feared humans would be categorized as the latter if discovered unprepared." "Why would we be seen as a threat?" Susan asked. Dr. Ayara answered, "Your biology alone is alarming. You evolved on a high-gravity world with radiation levels that would kill most sentient species. Your bones are dense, your muscles strong, and your bodies can withstand extreme conditions. You're basically Space Orcs," Frank said with a hint of pride. A beeping sound came from a device on Excel Tora's wrist. His silver face showed alarm. "An Alliance vessel has entered your solar system. Commander Vexinar is tracking our pod's emergency beacon." "How long do we have?" Peters asked. "Hours, perhaps less," Zick replied, whiskers twitching nervously. Jack stood up. "We need to move you somewhere secure. If these Alliance folks aren't friendly, we can't let them find you here." "It's too late," Excel Tora said. "Standard protocol for stranded personnel includes immediate memory wipes of any native witnesses. They'll try to wipe our memories." Donna's hand moved instinctively to her gun. "Or eliminate witnesses entirely," Excel Tora said quietly. "Commander Vexinar favors efficiency." A rumbling sound shook the cabin. Through the windows, they saw lights in the sky growing larger. "We need to run," Susan urged. "No," Jack said firmly. "I was a Marine before NASA. If they're coming to hurt our people, we fight." Excel Tora looked at the human with new respect. "You would face advanced Alliance weapons with your primitive firearms." Jack checked his pistol. "We've survived worse odds." The Alliance ship landed in the clearing near the cabin. Commander Vexinar emerged with 6 armed security officers. Their insect-like forms moved with precise military discipline. Hexel Tora. Vexnar's voice boomed through an amplification device. Surrender yourself and the humans for processing. Donna peered through the window. There's only 7 of them. We're 6. Their weapons can vaporize this structure in seconds, Dr. Ayara warned. Hexel Tora made a decision that would change the course of galactic history. I will help you. The Alliance must learn that humans are not to be underestimated. Outside, Commander Vexnar's patience was wearing thin. Prepare to breach, he ordered his team. He had no idea what awaited him inside. No idea that his dismissal of Seltor's warnings was about to be proven catastrophically wrong. The cabin erupted into chaos as the first Alliance weapon blast tore through the wall. Wood splintered, but the humans reacted with startling speed. Jack pulled Susan down behind the couch while Donna and Frank took positions by the windows. We need to reach the woods, Zeltora said. We'll be trapped in here. Another blast hit the cabin. Donna fired back, her bullet striking one of the Alliance officers in the shoulder. The insectoid alien fell back, chittering in shock. Their armor has a weak spot at the joints. Zeltora called out, pointing. Aim there. Jack moved to the back door. This way. Director Peters, stay low. They burst out the back of the cabin as more blasts reduced the front to burning rubble. The group ran toward the dense forest, Commander Vexnar's angry orders echoing behind them. Capture the traitors. Eliminate the humans. In the darkness of the forest, they kept moving, guided by Exceltora's night vision. After an hour of hard running, they reached a small hunting cabin that belonged to Director Peters. We should be safe here for now, Peters said, breathing hard as he unlocked the door. It's off-grid. No electricity for them to trace. Inside, they caught their breath. Frank's arm was bleeding from a graze, and Dr. Ayera treated it with alien medical technology that sealed the wound instantly. Why are they so afraid of us? Susan asked, watching the blue alien work. We're not even close to your level of technology. Dr. Ayara connected a small device to the cabin's old television. It flickered to life, showing images of human biology compared to other species. You evolved on what we call a death world, she explained. Your planet has higher gravity, more radiation, and more predators than most sentient species encounter. Look at your skeletal density compared to mine. The screen showed 2 skeletons side by side. The human bones were much thicker. You can break bones and heal. You can lose blood and survive. You can withstand G-forces that would kill most species. And most concerning to the Alliance, she swiped to a new image showing brain scans. You have extraordinary adaptability and aggression when threatened. That doesn't make us monsters, Frank protested. No, Keltor agreed. But it makes you potentially dangerous in the Alliance's view. Susan had been examining the Alliance weapon they'd managed to take during the escape. This technology isn't as advanced as I expected. The principles are similar to our own, just more refined. Jack looked over her shoulder. Could you disable it? Maybe, Susan said slowly. Given time, I might even figure out how to jam their systems. Zick, who had been quiet, suddenly spoke up. I've intercepted Alliance communications. They're declaring Earth a threat and requesting a cleansing operation. Cleansing? Donna asked, her face pale. Planetary sterilization, Hiltora said grimly. They'll wipe out all human life. The room fell silent. Director Peters finally spoke. How long do we have? The approval process takes time, Giselle Torres said. Perhaps a local week, but Vexnar is pushing for immediate action. Jack paced the small cabin. We need to contact your government. Tell them the truth. The council won't listen, Dr. Ayara said. They've already dismissed Seltor's reports. Then we need to find someone who will listen, Donna suggested. Are there others in your alliance who might help? Zeltor's silver face showed the alien equivalent of hope. Yes, there are species who fear alliance dominance. They follow orders, but secretly resent the military leadership. Can we contact them? Peters asked. If we capture a communication relay from Vexenar's ship, Tora said, but it would be extremely dangerous. Susan looked up from the alien weapon. I think I can create a disruption field for their scanners. It won't last long, but it might give us a chance to get close. Jack nodded firmly. It's worth the risk. The alternative is extinction. Donna checked her weapon. So we're planning to steal an alien spaceship to save Earth. Just another day in Oregon. Despite the gravity of their situation, nervous laughter rippled through the group. Humans finding humor in the face of death. Another trait Tora had documented but never truly understood until now. Night fell as the group finalized their plan. Susan had modified the alien weapon to emit a pulse that might temporarily disable Alliance technology. Frank, who had once been a computer hacker before joining the police, worked with Zik to understand Alliance communication systems. The ship will have guards, Tora warned as they gathered their makeshift equipment. At least 4 officers, all armed. Jack nodded. We'll split into 2 teams. Donna, Tora, and I will create a diversion. Susan, Frank, and Ayara will slip aboard to access the communications array. What about me? Director Peters asked. We need you to reach Washington, Jack said. If we fail, someone needs to warn the government. Peters reluctantly agreed and departed in his car, taking back roads to avoid detection. Under cover of darkness, they approached the Alliance ship. It sat in the clearing near the remains of Donna's cabin, its sleek form gleaming under the moonlight. 2 insectoid guards patrolled the perimeter. Jack signaled to Donna, who moved to the far side of the clearing. She fired 3 shots into the air, then quickly changed position. The guards immediately turned toward the sound. Primitive projectile weapons. 1 guard chittered to the other. Investigate Sector 4. As the guards moved toward Donna's position, Jack and Tora circled behind them. Jack tackled 1 guard while Tora used a sleep-inducing device on the other. Both went down with surprising ease. Their physical strength is minimal, Tora explained. They rely on technology, not muscle. With the external guards neutralized, Susan activated her disruptor. The ship's external sensors flickered and went dark. We have maybe 5 minutes, she whispered. They moved quickly to the ship's entrance. Zik's small fingers worked the control panel, and the door slid open. Inside, 2 more guards turned in surprise. Before they could react, Donna fired, hitting one in the joint of its armor as Tora had advised. Jack leaped at the other, his marine combat training evident as he brought the alien down with a swift strike. Communications is this way, Tora directed, leading them deeper into the ship. The bridge was empty. Commander Vexenar was likely still searching the forest. Frank and Zik immediately began working on the main console. We need to broadcast on all Alliance channels, Zik explained. Not just military frequencies. Can we send images? Donna asked. Show them what really happened. Yes, Ayara said. The ship records everything for mission reports. Frank's fingers flew across the alien keyboard as Zik translated. I'm accessing the security feeds now. We can broadcast the attack on the cabin. Show that humans were defending themselves. Add Tora's original reports, Susan suggested. Let the whole Alliance see what their leadership ignored. Outside, an alarm sounded. Commander Vexenar had returned. Hurry, Jack urged, taking position by the door. Broadcast initiating, Zik announced. Sending to all Alliance worlds now. The screen lit up with images of Earth, humans going about their daily lives, followed by Tora's report data. Then came footage of Commander Vexenar ordering the attack on peaceful humans. Adding a message, Tora said, stepping to the console. His voice, translated into all Alliance languages, rang clear. I am Scout Tora. I warned the Alliance about humanity's remarkable abilities. I was ignored. Now I stand with humans against those who would destroy them without cause. Humans are different, yes. Strong, yes. But they defend, not attack. The true danger comes from fear and ignorance in our own ranks. The ship shuddered as something struck it from outside. Commander Vexnar's voice boomed through the external speakers. Traitors, surrender the ship or be destroyed. Susan looked at the console. Message sent. It's broadcasting across the entire Alliance network. Jack peered out a viewport. Vexnar has brought reinforcements. We're surrounded. Donna checked her ammunition. So what now? We can't outfight them all. We don't need to, Zeltor said, his silver face showing a new expression. Hope. Look. The communications console was lighting up with incoming messages. Dozens, then hundreds of responses from across the Alliance. Zik's whiskers twitched excitedly. Multiple species are responding. The Krith, the Valerians, even some High Council members. They're questioning the attack on Earth. And more importantly, Igara added, reading the screen, 3 Alliance warships just broke formation. They're coming here, not to help Vexnar, but to stop him. Commander Vexnar's forces surrounded the ship, weapons aimed at the entrance. Inside, Jack peered through the viewport at the gathering Alliance troops. Those friendly ships won't get here in time, he said grimly. We need to hold out. A thunderous voice boomed through the ship's communication system. This is Commander Vexnar. You have one final chance to surrender. Exit the vessel, or we will breach. Donna moved to Jack's side. How many rounds do you have left? 4, he replied. You? 3, she said. Not enough. Zeltora studied the ship's control panel. There's one option left. This vessel has a defensive shield. If we activate it, they cannot enter. Then do it, Susan urged. The power systems are damaged, Zik said, whiskers twitching nervously. Activating the shield would drain life support. We would have air for perhaps 30 minutes. A heavy silence filled the bridge. Sacrifice themselves to buy time for the Alliance ships to arrive and potentially save Earth. Do it, Jack decided. Earth is worth it. Zeltora nodded and activated the shield. The blue energy field surrounded the ship, blocking Vexnar's forces from entering. The commander's angry orders could be heard faintly through the hull. What's happening up there? Frank asked, pointing to a screen showing Earth's orbit. The view showed dozens of Alliance ships appearing in flashes of light, but instead of attacking Earth, they formed a protective barrier. The Council is split, Ayara said, reading incoming messages. Our broadcast reached them. Many believe Exial Tora was right. The air grew thinner as life support weakened. Jack felt lightheaded but remained standing. How much longer until those friendly ships reach us? 20 minutes, Zik wheezed. We have perhaps 15 minutes of air left. Outside, Vexnar's forces continued trying to breach the shield. Suddenly, Earth shook with a sound like thunder. The sky lit up with flashes. What's that? Donna asked, struggling to breathe. The screen showed a remarkable sight. Earth's military forces had mobilized with incredible speed. Fighter jets circled overhead, and ground troops approached through the forest. Impossible, Zeltora whispered. How did they organize so quickly? A new message appeared on the communication screen. Director Peter's face looked out at them. Jack, if you can hear me, NASA wasn't the only one tracking alien signals. The military has been preparing for this possibility for decades. Help is coming. Hold on. The shield flickered as power drained further. The humans struggled to stay conscious in the thinning air. Exial Tora, built to withstand harsher conditions, remained alert. Save your strength, he told his human allies. Your people are coming. Outside, human military forces engaged Vexnar's troops. Though technologically outmatched, their numbers and determination proved formidable. Alliance soldiers fell back, unprepared for the ferocity of the human response. As darkness crept into Jack's vision, a brilliant light filled the viewport. A massive Alliance warship appeared above, its weapons trained not on Earth, but on Vexinar's position. Surrender your weapons, a new voice commanded over all frequencies. By order of the Galactic Council, this operation is terminated. The shield failed completely as the last power drained away. The ship's door opened, and fresh air rushed in. Jack gulped it gratefully as Alliance troops entered, not Vexinar's soldiers, but different aliens wearing blue insignia. Xel Tora, the lead officer said, "The Council requests your presence, you and your human allies." 3 days later, Xel Tora stood before the full Galactic Council. Beside him were Jack, Susan, Donna, and Frank, the first humans to visit the Alliance headquarters. Commander Vexinar stood in disgrace, his mandibles bound. Scout Xel Tora, the High Chancellor, spoke. "Your warnings about humanity were dismissed. For this, the Council offers formal apology." Murmurs filled the great chamber as the Chancellor continued. "Humanity has demonstrated not only remarkable physical abilities, but courage, loyalty, and wisdom. We extend an invitation for Earth to join the Alliance, not as a subject world, but as a full member with equal standing." Jack stepped forward. "Earth accepts with one condition. Xel Tora becomes the official ambassador between our worlds." The silver alien looked at his human friends with what they now recognized as a smile. As they left the council chamber, Donna nudged Xel Tora. "So all those reports you wrote about how dangerous humans are, I was wrong about one thing," Xel Tora admitted. "Your strength isn't what makes humans special. It's your heart." 1 year later, Xel Tora watched human and alien children playing together in the first joint Earth Alliance school. The galaxy was changing, growing stronger through understanding rather than fear.